This is Ina Steiner of AuctionBites.com. I had an opportunity to catch up with John Donahoe and Lori Norrington of eBay this afternoon. The interview follows. So I wanted to get right into the pricing, if that sounds good. One of the things I'm hearing is that people are feeling like this is something where they're going to end up paying more in fees. And so what would you say to people who say, you know, you're spinning this as a fee decrease, but they're feeling that they are going to end up paying more in fees?
Yeah, so let me just, when all else fails, resort to the facts. First of all, our goal with this pricing change is to do what sellers have been asking for a while, which is rebalancing our pricing. So we're reducing the insertion fees. We're making gallery free in the United States because our tests clearly showed that items with gallery have better conversion, and that's a better buyer experience, and that's better for sellers. We've raised the first two tranches of final value fees. Those things taken together have a net take rate reduction for eBay in the U.S.
Well, can you actually explain what that means, what a take rate is? Because it sounds to me like, I mean, my question is, why would eBay want to make less money?
Because we're trying to design our pricing. We're trying to do really three things, Ina, with pricing. One is we're trying to lower the upfront risk for sellers, because sellers have been saying that our insertion fees dissuade them from listing more inventory on eBay. And our fourth quarter test showed us by reducing the insertion fees and reducing the upfront fees that they will list more. Second, we're trying to improve the buyer experience, which is exactly what we think Free Gallery does. And then third, by putting more of the fee in the back end, we're aligning our incentives with our sellers' incentives. They don't pay the fees unless they successfully sell. So we think this is a good thing for the marketplace. It's going to increase listings, increase successful items, and we believe increase GMV, and that's good for our sellers, and that's good for eBay.
Well, I ran some of the numbers just to get a sense of if I'm a seller selling things at low price versus selling things with a higher price, and it seems like this is going to impact people selling higher price goods more than lower price goods. So I wondered, can you explain who's really, which kinds of sellers are really going to save some money here, and you know, is it really eBay's goal to have lower priced items on the site?
So two things. One, let me just complete the part of the pricing I didn't reference before, which is the seller discount. In addition to the pricing changes, which in and by themselves lower the take rate, we have seller discounts, which are tied to, in essence, customer service, as you know, tied to the detailed seller ratings or DSRs. Those offer power sellers an additional 5 or 15% off their final value fees, which has the effect of lowering take rate even further and offsetting some of the increase in the final value fee. To your question, we've modeled out if all sellers took their 2007 volume and put it through the new pricing, the majority of sellers have lower fees. Furthermore, we feel that the lower upfront fees and the other changes we've made to improve the buyer experience is going to lead to higher conversion. So we think in 2008, all sellers will have better growth and, in essence, lower fees or lower take rate.
Well, I was just listening to the Q&A session, and I'm always impressed with the ability of eBay executives to tackle that because people do get passionate. One seller, I have to say, I almost felt like he was going to start to cry because he said he was selling for 10 years and was doing everything he could to deliver exactly what you're saying, the good buying experience. And yet, because of this shipping and packaging, you know what I'm going to say, the shipping and packaging criteria for DSRs, that there's just, he doesn't know, he's at his wit's end on how to raise that. And if he can't raise it, he won't be eligible for those listing discounts that you're talking about, the 5% or the 15%. So were you surprised to hear all those seller reaction during the Q&A session that really there seemed to be a lot of attention paid to that DSR shipping and packaging criteria?
You know, not at all, Ina, and I'll let Lori comment in a minute, but again, here's the principles we came from. Around pricing, we wanted to rebalance the fees. Around the DSRs and the other changes we made, the operative principle is how do we retain, how do we provide a better buyer experience that brings buyers back to eBay where they buy more and they buy repeatedly. And all of the changes we made, including using DSRs and including using shipping within the DSRs, are geared for that, because our analysis shows that one of the major reasons sellers or buyers buy less on eBay is they don't feel great about the shipping piece after the fact. So that's a challenge we have to jointly face with our sellers.
Is it fair to say that you're jointly facing? You know, it's in looking at the total sum of all the changes that came out today, it seems like eBay isn't the one who's at risk. It seems like there's a real burden that's on the seller, and they're the ones that are going to have to face, the bad buyers. How that doesn't necessarily affect eBay. They're actually going to save money. Actually, when you think about it, they're going to save money if a seller gets a lower DSR on shipping and packaging.
So let me comment on this philosophically. Again, our focus here is to make sure that we are retaining our buyers and having the healthiest marketplace we can. When we looked at the data, and that's frankly one of the reasons we did DSRs for 8 or 9 months, to actually get the data to understand what was going on, it was clear that we would have over 60% of our power sellers qualify for those discounts based on the DSRs. So I want to be clear that I actually think that the dialogue we're having with the sellers is exactly the dialogue we want to have with them, because the number one issue that buyers talk about is excessive shipping and handling on the marketplace. And so this is exactly where we want to be. I want to make sure that we're having the constructive dialogue, because this is what's right for the buyer. If we win with the buyer together, we're both going to have a better marketplace.